Well, the United States is an immigration nation. Nearly all of us can trace some of our lineage to immigrants. And while every family tree has a different story, most roots here in Oklahoma are less than a century old. Yet what we've seen in the past decade is a dramatic increase in immigration. And nowhere has that growth been more dramatic than in the Oklahoma panhandle. We begin today by looking at how the influx of immigrants looking for work has impacted the town of Guymon. Brian Bindley starts us off.
The panhandle of Oklahoma may be considered one of the most remote places in the country, but that's not keeping Guymon residents down.
We're so far from any place. We're 40 miles from Colorado line. We're about 20 miles from Kansas line, 15 miles from Texas, but we're 100 miles from Oklahoma because we're out here all by ourselves. And if we want something done, well, people pitch in and do it.
And that is exactly what they have done. Now home to Seaboard, a major hog production plant, Guymon has grown from 8,500 people to now close to 12,000.
You see a lot of small towns, USA, where a big manufacturing plant comes in, there's a lot of opposition. And Guymon just opened its arms and welcomed them in.
However, according to city manager Michael Shannon, Guymon opened its arms to a culture different from its own.
When Seaboard started production, there just seems like there were just probably 2 or 3 or 4 times the amount of Hispanic people coming in, and which Texas County was aware of their culture, but they was not really aware of that many coming in at once. And so we had to kind of adjust. The city had to adjust.
And adjustments have been made, especially in Guymon schools. Superintendent Bob Neal says the school's district has done an excellent job meeting the challenges.
We've gone from about 1,600 students up to around 2,400, and we've gone from about a 15% Hispanic minority to a 54% majority. So there's been quite a few issues as far as language barriers, cultural issues, and that sort of thing that we've had to deal with. We're running pretty well at or slightly above the state averages. So if you consider those language barriers that we are dealing with, I would submit to you that that's probably doing extremely well.
And the language barriers are also affecting how business is done.
We all have hired someone that speaks Spanish. Now the bankers, they've gone to the same courses I went to. They've tried to learn some Spanish because we feel like we owe it to the people if they're here and they're making their living and they're spending their money and they're making our community grow. We owe it to them to learn Spanish.
For many citizens, maintaining an already existing workforce in their youth is of great importance.
In 1990, say, or let's say when my children completed their education, at that time, the biggest export we had was our youth. They could go to work any place they wanted. Rural America, there was no place. And I'd kind of like having my grandchildren here. And what the pork industry's done, or the growth, the boom, has brought them back to Guymon, Oklahoma.
Owner of the Best Western, Don Scott, has seen a change in that direction.
We've got a lot of young people again starting businesses here. We've got people with families, and the medium age went from almost the highest in the state to almost the lowest in the state, which is pretty unusual in a 10-year swing.
And with more focus on marketing Guymon as a growing community, showcasing its agriculture productions with its small-town work ethic, citizens hope to bring more interest to the panhandle of Oklahoma.
When you get the whole community working together is when it really works the best. And hopefully that's what we're doing. I think the last year we've really made some steps back to doing that, to get the whole community working at trying to diversify our economy and just take it a step at a time.